are all gifted with 24 hours every day. We can't change this. But what we can change is the amount of energy we show up with in those 24 hours. So many of us are just so used to just waking up, often begrudgingly by our alarm, feeling just really tired and groggy before the day's even begun. We may pop the kettle on, grab a coffee, maybe some cereal or toast before we start work. And then often it's not long, come maybe 10, 11, we experience that slump in energy. We just start to feel really fatigued, maybe a bit of brain fog kicks in. And often it's this time where we experience cravings for sugar and caffeine and are really hoping that there's biscuits at the next meeting. And then come lunchtime, we may grab a sandwich or salad, eat it at our desk. This may give us a bit of an energy boost for a bit, but then often it's not long until we experience that afternoon slump where you just really don't want to carry on with work. You're just finding it hard to concentrate, finding it hard to focus. And really all you want to do is just curl up in a ball and take a nap. But sadly, we can't just go back on with our work. But I am here to tell you there is another way. So imagine what it would feel like to wake up with this abundance of energy that's sustained throughout the whole day. With just a few tweaks to what you eat, what you put in your body, and what you expose your body to, can make a really profound difference with how you wake up, how you feel in the morning, and how you feel throughout your whole workday. So in this video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 health hacks for abundant energy throughout your workday. Here goes. Number 1, breakfast like a boss. So I feel breakfast is a bit of a black sheep when it comes to meals. I feel like it's super underrated. Anyone that knows me will know how much I love breakfast. I feel like start as you mean to go on, right? Breakfast is a really good opportunity to set your body up for success or start it on this energy roller coaster, which is what we want to avoid. So I'm talking largely savoury breakfasts. So sadly, those cereals, granolas and jams are going to have to take a back seat if you want to focus on getting this abundant energy. So to breakfast like a boss, we need to focus on 3 things. Number 1 is protein. Protein with breakfast is so important to ensure you help get this stable blood sugar throughout the day and avoid these big spikes in blood glucose. So why do we want to avoid these big spikes? Well, when we have excess glucose in our blood, we release lots of insulin, and insulin's job is to shunt the glucose into cells. So when lots of insulin is produced, it's not long before our blood glucose level dips, and this is when we experience this dip in energy, which we really want to avoid. The protein is really good at slowing the absorption of carbohydrates and helping this sustained energy. So protein, what are we talking about? We want to focus on good quality protein. So fish is brilliant. So if we can get sort of our salmon in there in the morning, you are winning. Greek yogurt's really good, and I'm talking proper Greek yogurt, not Greek style yogurt, the proper strained yogurt. And if you're vegan, maybe focusing on nuts and seeds is really great too. So number 2 at breakfast, we want to make sure that we include lots of fibre, and this is where all your veggies come in. So I feel like, why do we not eat vegetables for breakfast? That's going to change. So if you focus on getting as many vegetables in your first meal of the day, this will really help give your body the nutrients and the fibre again to help slow the absorption of glucose, set you up for a really good day of steady energy. So just getting in all the green leafy veg, spinach, kale, mushrooms, tomatoes, whatever you've got, bung it in there and get as much in for breakfast as possible. So the 3rd thing to make sure you include in your breakfast is fats. Yes, fats are our friend when it comes to energy, particularly energy for our brain and brain health. So the omega-3 fats, these are the ones from oily fish, so salmon, mackerel, sardines. These are really helpful. Or you can have chia seeds or walnuts, which are sort of omega-3s for if you're vegan or veggie. And other natural fats, so things like grass-fed organic butter is really good, coconut oil, avocados, extra virgin olive oil. Get them in your breakfast, and again that will just help blunt the absorption of carbohydrates and just slow their release into your bloodstream and avoid the big spikes and then the inevitable dips. Health hack number 2 is be caffeine conscious. So hands up, I was a full-on coffee addict. Okay, I still love my coffee, but over the past couple of years, I've come to be really conscious of the impact caffeine has on my body. So if I have the wrong amounts of it or at the wrong time of day, I can really feel it negatively in my body. I can feel sort of my heart racing, I get quite jittery, my anxiety levels soar. And I've also noticed that a couple of hours after I've had that coffee, often my energy is lower than it even was before I've had the coffee. So don't panic, I'm not going to tell you to stop drinking coffee. But my second tip is to delay having that first cup of caffeine, so with tea or coffee or green tea, at least an hour after waking up. So ideally an hour to 90 minutes. So why is this? So caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors in our body. And adenosine is a molecule which our body produces to help us feel drowsy and prepare us for sleep. So when we first wake in the morning, there's still some adenosine in our body. So that's why often when we wake up, we're not bursting with energy straight away. It takes maybe like 15-20 minutes, or for some people longer, for the adenosine to naturally decline. But if we're having our coffee before the adenosine has sort of dissipated, then what happens is, yes, it will block the receptors and it will stop adenosine doing its job of making us tired. So it will give us that uplift in energy. But once that caffeine's worn off, so an hour or two later, the adenosine is still in our system and it then does its job of making us feel drowsy. And that might be why some of us experience this bit of dip mid-morning. So by having our coffee or tea just that bit later on in the morning, allowing our adenosine levels to dip naturally and also allowing our cortisol levels to increase naturally, we're actually helping us avoid this dip later on. So if you're like me and you really like sort of the ritual having a hot drink in the morning when you first wake up, you can just switch this to a non-caffeine version, or if you're feeling really virtuous, having something like a ginger and lemon tea is really great for just getting all the digestive fibres going before breakfast. At the moment, I'm really enjoying chicory root coffee. Might sound a bit weird, but actually just tastes really similar to coffee. And it's got loads of inulin in it, which is a prebiotic that will help sort of feed our good bacteria, which is also really beneficial for our energy levels. Health hack number 3 is seek out the sunshine. So it's no coincidence that when we look to get away, to restore or recharge, often our number one priority is somewhere sunny. I think we forget that we weren't designed to just live within these 4 walls. We need sun. We need it on our face, we need it on our skin, we even need it in our eyes. I feel like the sun is sort of our natural energy booster. It's like a free battery charger. So how do we really make the most of this? The best time to get the sun on our face and our skin is first thing in the morning, because it helps regulate our circadian rhythm. It sort of signals to our body that yes, it's time to wake up and get producing that energy. So instead of putting the kettle on first thing, you can pop open the front door instead and get that sunshine on your skin. If you don't manage to get out in the morning, getting out any time during the day at lunchtime is really great. Just 5 minutes of sun exposure will really help your body and your energy throughout the afternoon. So often, even on a really cloudy day, it's actually a lot lighter outside than in your office or in your house. So next time you're flagging a bit and you're thinking about grabbing that next cup of tea or coffee, instead just grab a shot of sunshine and just see how you feel. Abundant energy health hack number 4. This is making sure you're getting enough good quality protein with your lunch. So similar to breakfast. So protein is actually surprisingly easy to overlook when it comes to making your lunch for work. So you may just be making a sandwich, or you may grab something from the office canteen, maybe some soup or some salad, but where is the protein? It's really important that we get sort of a fist size full of protein with each meal, particularly lunch, sort of the middle meal of your day. So just have a look at what you've got planned for lunch, or perhaps what you've had for lunch, and was there sufficient protein? If not, it may just be a case of just adding something, so maybe like some salmon flakes to your pasta, or maybe a big dollop of hummus, maybe some pine nuts with your salad, or with your soup, adding some sort of shredded chicken, or maybe some chickpeas or pumpkin seeds, just to make sure you've got adequate protein in there, because this is what's going to blunt the absorption of the carbohydrates and help with that steady release of energy all afternoon. You could even just simply pack a bag of nuts in your work bag. So some Brazil nuts, walnuts, almonds, they're all really great sources of protein. So nibbling on these after your lunch will just help with that slow release of energy and hopefully keep you going until you get home from work. So my fifth and final health hack is optimizing O2. So I think sometimes we forget that it's not just food our body needs for energy. We of course need oxygen to help make ATP, which is the energy currency in our body. So what are we doing to optimize the oxygen our body is receiving? You may have actually seen there's some oxygen bars popping up now that you can hire. So instead of sort of going to a cocktail bar after work, having a drink to perk you up, you can go to an oxygen bar and inhale some fresh oxygen, which helps meant to sort of help recharge and revitalize you. So how can we get this naturally throughout our work day? Well, first thing to look at is our posture. How are we sitting at work? Are we sitting with our nice chest wide open to really take advantage of our inhale, making enough room to inhale as much oxygen as we can? Or are we sitting sort of hunched over our desks like a lot of us are, which makes it virtually impossible to take a nice really deep inhale? Also looking at the way we breathe. So often when we're stressed, we have sort of short, shallow breaths. Again, not really getting much oxygen in each breath. Or are we able to take those long, deep breaths, breathing in as much air as we can in each in-breath? So it's quite interesting. Some people say that when we yawn, the reason we yawn is to have that intake of oxygen to help sort of wake us up. So what we can do at work, so when we're flagging a bit and we're feeling a bit low on energy, using the power of oxygen, so simply just standing up, shoulders back, chest open, ideally doing this outside, near some trees if you can, and just taking some really nice deep belly breaths. So give this a go next time if you're struggling a bit to focus. Even just sort of 2 or 3 minutes of this deep belly breathing can really help our energy levels. So I hope this has given you some inspiration of just some little tweaks you can make to your work day to start feeling more abundant energy throughout the day. So we're also different, and there's so many different things that impact our energy, but I recommend you just start off small with your changes, and I mean really small. So just picking one small aspect of one of the health hacks to start doing maybe tomorrow or next week, and then getting this embedded into your daily habits and your lifestyle before moving on to the next thing, because this is just a lot more sustainable and it's a lot more likely to last. So what thing are you going to pick? It could just be maybe delaying having your coffee by an hour. It could be having lunch outside. It could be just something as simple as just popping a bag of nuts in your work bag. So thank you very much for listening, and please do let me know how you get on.